From the Afton family drama to haunted animatronics, soul-infused, remnant metal, and even a killer VR game, the FNAF lore is probably the most complex a horror game series ever had. We've got possessed robots, undead night guards, and one purple psychopath who just won't stay dead. You know the story never ends when the main villain's catchphrase is, "I always come back." Our story starts off in the late 1970s or early 1980s in a small town called Hurricane, Utah. Two buddies, William Afton and Henry Emily, team up to start a family restaurant. William, a British immigrant with a family, and Henry, an engineer and fellow family man, open Fazbear's family diner, a little cake shop with big ambitions. Their gimmick? Two special animatronic mascot suits, one golden Freddy, Fazbear, and one spring Bonnie. These spring-lock suits can either operate as robots or be worn by people, a neat party trick that will definitely be important later. Business booms, and they expand by opening Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, introducing new animatronics Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy to entertain kids. On the surface, it's all pizza and smiles, but here's the catch. William Afton is secretly a total psychopath. Yes, one of the co-founders is harboring some serious murderous tendencies. Henry, probably sensing something's off or just being a good dad, creates an animatronic called the Puppet or Marionette to protect his own young daughter, Charlotte, Charlie, Emily. The Puppet's job is literally to keep kids safe, especially Charlie, whenever danger lurks at the pizzeria. But unfortunately, tragedy strikes one fateful day. Little Charlie gets locked outside Freddy's after hours, and the puppet isn't able to save her. It got stuck in its music box and arrived too late. In a dark alley behind the diner, William Afton seizes the moment and murders Henry's daughter, Charlotte. It's the first brutal killing in the FNAF saga. The heartbroken Henry never finds her killer, at least not yet. But Charlie's story doesn't end there. The puppet finds Charlie's lifeless body, and in a supernatural twist, Charlie's spirit merges with the puppet. Yup, our first instance of a soul possessing an animatronic. Charlie becomes a vengeful little ghost puppet, and the era of haunted animatronics has begun. While Henry mourns his daughter, let's switch focus to William Afton's home life, because it gets worse. William has 3 kids, 2 sons, Michael and the younger Evan, and a daughter, Elizabeth. The youngest, Evan, also known as the crying child, is absolutely terrified of the family's animatronics and mascots. And with a father like William, can you blame him? Meanwhile, big brother Michael is a classic bully. Michael constantly scares Evan by wearing a foxy mask and teasing him with the Fazbear characters. On Evan's birthday in 1983, Michael pulls a prank that goes way too far. He and his teen friends pick up the crying birthday boy and literally stick his head into the jaws of Fredbear, the animatronic golden bear, to give him a big kiss. Terrible idea. Evan is bawling, and the tears and stress cause the spring lock mechanisms in the suit's mouth to fail. The animatronic's jaws clamp down on Evan's head like it's the last slice of pizza. This horrific incident, known as the Bite of 83, kills William's youngest son on the spot. Yup, a child got his frontal lobe bitten off at his own birthday party. This series really went there. This trauma pretty much shatters whatever was left of William Afton's sanity. The man literally watches his kid get chomped, and it seems to awaken even darker urges in him. Afterwards, William spirals from secret psychopath to full-blown child murderer. Afton starts hanging around Freddy Fazbear's Pizza in a creepy spring Bonnie costume, the same style of suit he and Henry once wore on stage, to earn kids' trust. Sometime after the Bite of 83, we're now in the mid-80s, William lures a group of 5 children to a back room on the promise of cake and fun, and kills them all. This notorious crime is later dubbed the Missing Children Incident. But wait, it gets even more gruesome. To hide the evidence, William stuffs each of the 5 bodies inside the animatronic mascots. Apparently those suits had extra storage because William literally designed them with child-sized hollow compartments. I told you he was twisted. The missing kids' souls go on to possess Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and one extra golden Freddy suit that was in the back. Our puppet pal, Charlie, witnesses these murders and works behind the scenes to give the dead kids new life in the animatronics, effectively creating haunted animatronic killers roaming the pizzeria, with children disappearing and oozing animatronics starting to smell like, well, rotting corpses. The Freddy's pizza joint doesn't last long. The restaurant is shut down amid the investigation and health code violations, and William Afton gets fired, probably for, mass murder and other management issues. Henry is devastated by the tragedy surrounding their business, and likely by the realization that his friend William is behind it. Fazbear Entertainment closes its doors for now. Side note, there's also the infamous Bite of 87, which happens a few years later at a different Freddy's location. An animatronic bites someone's head and they survive minus their frontal lobe. It's a big deal in the game's lore, but compared to William's carnage, it's almost a footnote. The fact that 2 different years have landmark, head-biting incidents tells you everything about FNAF's insanity. So at this point, William Afton has lost 2 of his 3 children, one accidentally by Robot Chomp, one by his own murderous mischief. His family is in shambles, and he's been fired and disgraced. A normal person might confess or at least lay low, but not William. Instead, he doubles down on his creepy hobby. He takes his engineering skills and forms a new private business, Afton Robotics, LLC, creating animatronics away from Henry's oversight. Why keep making robots after all this horror? Well, here's where a key FNAF concept comes in, Remnant. Through his killings, William discovers that when a person dies, especially a child with lots of emotional energy, they release a mysterious substance or energy called Remnant. What the heck is Remnant? Think of it as haunted metal, a paranormal substance made of soul energy that can bind a spirit to an object, essentially granting a form of immortality. Afton realizes that by harvesting Remnant from his victims, he might conquer death itself. In other words, the madman wants to live forever, powered by the very souls of the kids he killed. And to collect Remnant more efficiently, William designs a new attraction, Circus Baby's Pizza World, a carnival-themed sister location featuring advanced animatronics built specifically to lure and capture children. His magnum opus is Circus Baby, a clownish animatronic with red pigtails, modeled a bit after his daughter Elizabeth, that can dispense ice cream and balloons. But Baby has a deadly feature. She's equipped with a mechanical claw that can spring out of her torso to snatch children and, well, do what Afton built her to do. Talk about a fun time at the circus. Sadly, poetic justice arrives when William's own daughter, little Elizabeth Afton, gets curious about Circus Baby. Despite her father's warnings to stay away from the animatronic, Elizabeth approaches Baby during a private test/opening day. Baby, following her wicked design, offers Elizabeth ice cream, then suddenly snatches and kills her, trapping Elizabeth's soul inside. William is now hoisted by his own petard. He literally built the machine that murdered his girl. The tragedy is covered up by Afton with a fake story about a gas leak, and Circus Baby's Pizza World closes before it even opens to the public. At this point, 2 of William's kids are dead because of animatronics, one accidental, one deliberate. Any normal person would retire or check into therapy, but nope, he's still going. William salvages the Circus Baby animatronics and hides them underground, opening a facility called Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rentals, basically renting out animatronics for shows, while secretly continuing his Remnant experiments. He doesn't give up on Elizabeth either. Believing her soul is stuck inside Circus Baby, William comes up with a terrible parenting plan. He decides to send his surviving son Michael down to the underground facility to free Elizabeth's soul. Yes, Michael, who is maybe 18 or 20 by now, is tasked with intentionally getting near the deadly robot that killed his sister. Father of the year, right? Anyway, enter Michael Afton as our new protagonist, an unsuspecting hero. Michael feels guilty for indirectly causing his brother's death, that whole prank gone wrong with Fredbear, and he's eager to make amends. Under instructions from dear old evil dad, who is MIA doing his own thing, Michael goes to work as a technician at the underground sister location facility. This is the setting of Five Nights at Freddy's. Sister location. It's basically a storage and testing bunker for the Funtime animatronics, Circus Baby, Ballora, a ballet dancer bot, Funtime Freddy, Funtime Foxy, and a creepy bitty bab here and there. Mike's goal: survive long enough in this job to figure out what happened to Elizabeth and put her spirit to rest. Through a week of night shifts, Guided by a sassy AI voice and Circus Baby's eerie guidance, Michael endures all manner of animatronic madness. Think killer clown robots and lots of vents. By night 5, he discovers Baby has been scheming. The animatronics, led by Baby, want to escape. They've concocted a plan to fuse together into a big, amalgamated being and use Michael as their escape vessel. How? With a machine called the Scooper, basically a giant mechanical ice cream scooper used for removing animatronic endoskeletons. If that sounds painful, it's because it is. On his last night, poor Michael gets tricked by Circus Baby and her friends and is lured into the scooping room. There, in a scene that scarred many players for life, Michael is scooped, i.e., his insides are violently extracted by the machine. Ouch. The scooper removes his organs and stuff as if Michael himself were just one of the animatronics. Why? So that Ennard, the combined form of Baby, Ballora, and the others who've literally merged their robotic bodies, can use Michael's hollowed out body as a human suit to escape the facility. Think Weekend at Bernie's, but with a pile of robots puppeteering a dead guy. Miraculously, because of Remnant logic, Michael doesn't immediately die from this. The animatronic collective Ennard slips inside his skin, wears him like a Mike suit, and walks out into the outside world. Michael stumbles around for a while looking like a zombie, until his body starts to rot, as dead bodies tend to do. Eventually, Ennard can't keep the charade and flees Michael's body, escaping into a sewer while Michael collapses. It looks like game over for Mike, until a little more Fazbear brand magic happens. Thanks to the remnant residue left by the scooper and the animatronics, Michael gets back up, reanimated, undead, but alive. Essentially, Michael Afton is now a walking corpse, held together by soul juice and sheer willpower. I love how it's never explained how Mike got a job while being an actual zombie. Seriously, they never addresses how Michael, now purple-skinned and presumably smelly, manages to function in society, but he does. Michael's experiences give him a new purpose. He learned what happened to Elizabeth. Her soul is indeed fused with Baby/Ennard, and he briefly freed her when Ennard left his body. Now Michael vows to hunt down his father William and stop his murderous rampage. Mike literally says, in the sister location ending, "Father, I'm going to come find you." This sets Michael on a path to clean up the mess his dad created. Some fans speculate that Mike had also been the security guard in earlier Freddy's locations, possibly the player character of FNAF 1 or 2, working under fake names to undo William's crimes. It's a popular theory that Michael Afton equal Mike Schmidt from FNAF 1, trying to free the souls of the original 4 animatronic kids. While it's not confirmed in-game, it does make a lot of sense given Michael's mission. While Michael's been busy getting scooped, William Afton's been off the radar, but not idle. Remember those vengeful animatronic spirits of the kids he killed in the missing children incident? Well, a few years later, around the early 90s, William returns to the abandoned Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, probably to destroy the evidence or retrieve Remnant. In this crumbling old pizzeria, he finds the old animatronics possessed by the ghosts of his victims. One by one, William dismantles the animatronics, literally tearing apart Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy into scrap, possibly to collect the remnant inside them, or just out of paranoia. But this plan backfires spectacularly. By smashing the robots, he releases the kids' spirits into tangible ghost forms, and boy, are they angry. The ghost children corner William in the safe room of the old restaurant. Now, William's no supernatural expert. He's a man of science and insanity. So seeing literal ghosts of the kids he murdered freaks him out. In a panicked attempt to save himself, Afton spots the old yellow Spring Bonnie suit, his favorite murder costume, still stored in the room. Laughing maniacally, he dons the Spring Bonnie suit, likely thinking it will scare or protect him from the ghosts. Big mistake. Remember, those Springlock suits have a fatal design flaw. They don't like moisture or sudden movements. As William taunts the spirits, the spring locks in the suit fail. All those tiny gears and bolts snap loose, and the suit's metal mechanisms impale William's body from all sides. It's a gruesome, ironic death. The killer gets killed by his own murder costume. William is crushed and mutilated inside the Spring Bonnie suit as the ghost kids watch. The room falls silent. The The spirits presumably think he's gone for good, and over the years the building decays around William's body. Afton remains sealed in that spring-locked tomb, not dead exactly, but not alive, more like undying, stewing in his own agony and hatred. Thus is born Springtrap, William Afton's rotten corpse fused into a creepy, rabbit-like animatronic suit. Fast forward to 30 years later, around 2023 in the timeline. The events of the old Freddy's killings have become urban legend. Some entrepreneurs decide it'd be cool to cash in on the spooks and open Fazbear's Fright, the horror attraction, a haunted house style experience themed after the infamous Freddy Fazbear murders. In doing so, they rummage through old locations and lo and behold discover William's mummified Springtrap corpse in the old safe room. Thinking it's just a freaky, old animatronic, they bring Springtrap to be the star attraction of Fazbear's Fright, because nothing says family fun like a corpse in a rabbit suit. Inevitably, William's consciousness reanimates in Springtrap, either through sheer will or the power of Remnant in his body, and he wakes up, very much alive in a sense, and stalks the attraction's vents at night. The player character in FNAF 3 has to deal with this relentless zombie bunny known as Springtrap, who really wants to kill the night guard, as always. However, William's freedom is short-lived. After only a week of Springtrap's antics, Fazbear's Fright burns to the ground, presumably in a mysterious, accidental fire. The cause is unknown, but fan theories suggest that Michael Afton himself might have set the blaze to finally end his father's legacy. Regardless, Springtrap, William, survives the fire yet again, albeit extra crispy, because of course he does. I always come back, remember? Now he's a charred, withered version of Springtrap. We later call this form Scrap Trap in FNAF 6, and he's still not done. On the flip side, not everyone died in that sister location incident. The animatronic collective Ennard, after escaping Michael's body, splintered. The part containing Elizabeth's soul, Circus Baby, got kicked out of Ennard. Sibling animatronic infighting, who knew? And Baby reassembled herself into a shabbier, more grotesque form called Scrap Baby. The remaining Ennard, without Baby, became Molten Freddy, basically Ennard but now with a clown face mask resembling Funtime Freddy and a tangle of wires for a body. So by the early 2020s, we have loose animatronic monsters roaming somewhere. Scrap Baby, Molten Freddy, and of course William Scraptrap Afton out there after the Fazbear's Fright fire. Now enters Henry Emily again. Remember him? Co-founder, Puppet's father. Henry has been grieving and watching all this chaos from the sidelines for decades. He lost his daughter to Afton, his business collapsed, and presumably he's aware that Afton's legacy of evil lives on through these undead creatures. Henry decides it's time to end everything once and for all. What does he do? He opens one last Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, but this time it's a trap. In FNAF 6, Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, you, the player, are actually Michael Afton, now effectively an unkillable zombie dude who has responded to a vague job ad. Unbeknownst to Michael, Henry set up this new, small pizzeria as bait to lure all the remaining animatronics into one place. Henry even built a special animatronic named Lefty, short for LEFTE, Lorekeeper's extra fancy trap enclosure. Okay, I made that up, but it is called Lefty, to specifically capture the puppet, Charlie Spirit, and bring it to this location. Sure enough, over the course of the game, all the key undead animatronics show up at the pizzeria. Scrap Baby, Elizabeth, Molten Freddy, the remains of Ennard, Scrap Trap, William Afton, and Lefty, with the puppet Charlotte. Michael, still following Dad's find and kill the animatronics mission, does his part by helping collect them, not realizing he's playing into Henry's plan. Michael just really wants to end this nightmare, even if it means his own demise. On the final night, Henry finally reveals himself via recorded speech, and it is epic. He basically says, "Gotcha. This was all a ploy to gather you monsters in one place." Henry acknowledges Michael's presence as a willing volunteer, apologizes to his daughter's spirit for failing to protect her, and coldly addresses William, if he's even listening, that this is the end. Henry then sets the entire building on fire, committing arson for the greater good. The blaze engulfs everything and everyone inside. Scrap Baby, gone. Molten Freddy, toast. lefty slash puppet, released. Michael Afton accepts his fiery fate, choosing to finally die rather than keep living as an undead, guilt-ridden corpse. And William Afton slash Springtrap, Henry addresses him directly with some cold final words and leaves him to burn as well, hoping to purge his evil forever. As the flames burn, Henry says one last badass line: "Rest now, Charlotte, and the rest of you. Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole, so don't keep the devil waiting, old friend." Chills. In other words, William, go to hell, do not pass go, do not resurrect again. In this ending, it appears all the souls of the children, including Charlie and the original 5, are freed from their animatronic prisons, finally at peace. Michael and Henry perish with them, accepting that sacrifice. It's a surprisingly emotional and final feeling ending for about 5 seconds. We get a closing image of a cute gravestone hill, suggesting all the loose ends are tied up. It seems like the end of the Afton saga. Hallelujah. Roll credits. But wait, this is FNAF. The story never truly ends. The popular theory is that William didn't exactly die here, but his soul became trapped in a purgatory-like state, tormented by the spirits of his victims. The game Ultimate Custom Night is thought to be William's personal hell, where a particularly angry spirit, nicknamed Cassidy by fans, keeps him endlessly suffering. So in a way, Henry did condemn William to an eternal punishment worse than death. As William himself would say, "I always come back," but this time it might be as a wrathful digital ghost, which leads us to the next part of the timeline. You'd think getting spring-locked, burned twice, and then soul blasted by angry ghosts would stop William Afton. But nope, Springtrap always finds a way. The next phase of FNAF lore goes virtual, literally. After Henry's fiery finale, Fazbear Entertainment, now under new management, trying to salvage their brand's image, decides to create a VR game called FNAF, Help Wanted. In-universe, this VR game is made to gloss over the urban legends and bad press, a bit of meta commentary by the developers. But here's the thing, William Afton had anticipated something like this. Before his death, the genius sociopath digitized his consciousness into code, like uploading an evil virus of himself into circuitry. So when testers start playing the Freddy Fazbear VR game, a creepy anomaly appears in the code, Glitchtrap, a purple rabbit-esque digital virus that is, in fact, William Afton's consciousness living on inside the game. He always comes back, even if it's as malware. Glitchtrap's goal is to escape the game and return to the real world to continue his murder spree. This man's hobbies are singularly focused on killing kids, apparently. How does a video game virus kill people IRL? By good old-fashioned mind control. Glitchtrap brainwashes a beta tester named Vanessa, effectively possessing her mind. Vanessa is a young woman who ends up unwittingly becoming William's new puppet. Under Afton's influence, she adopts a secret persona called Vanny. Yes, like a female bunny. Basically a human who wears a creepy bunny suit and does Afton's bidding. With Afton now Glitchtrap pulling the strings, the Fazbear brand ironically opens yet another attraction because no one in this universe learns any lessons. This time it's Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizzaplex, an enormous high-tech mall arcade in the 2020s. It's like Chuck E. Cheese on steroids, complete with a new band of animatronics called the Glamrocks. Glamrock Freddy, Glamrock Chica, Roxanne Wolf, and Montgomery Gator. The Pizzaplex is basically FNAF meets Disneyland, and it's the setting for Five Nights at Freddy's. Security breach. Of course, behind the scenes, creepy stuff is happening. Kids go missing in this mall because Afton's still at it. Even as a virus, dude can't resist. It's implied that Vanny, Vanessa under Afton's control, is kidnapping children for nefarious purposes. Meanwhile, the animatronics are all networked and hacked by Glitchtrap/Afton, making them hostile. All except one, Glamrock Freddy. During a nighttime performance, Freddy has a glitch and unexpectedly shuts down. For some mysterious reason, maybe the lingering soul of a good character protecting him? I don't know, but Freddy is not under Afton's control. He literally malfunctions out of the hive mind. When he reboots, it's after closing time and he finds a young boy named Gregory hiding inside his chest cavity. So begins security breach. Gregory is a street-smart kid trapped overnight in this giant mall of murder, and Freddy becomes his protector/friend, and there's a fun twist. Fans theorize that Gregory might not be a normal kid at all. Some think Gregory is actually a robot or a clone of the crying child, because at one point his vision glitches like static, as if he has digital eyes, whenever Vonnie is near. It's not confirmed, but hey, it wouldn't be the weirdest thing in this series. Regardless, Gregory just acts like a scared, resourceful kid trying to survive. All night long, Vonnie and the corrupted Glamrock animatronics hunt Gregory through neon-lit arcades, play areas, and laser tag arenas. With Freddy's help, Gregory manages to dismantle the other animatronics one by one. Yes, this 10-year-old basically Home Alone as the evil robots. He crushes Chica in a trash compactor, dismantles Monty the Gator by literally blasting him to pieces, and even runs over Roxanne with a go-kart. Brutal. Each time, he salvages upgrades for Freddy, like Roxy's fancy eyes or Monty's claws, to help them progress. It's chaotic and darkly comedic. Gregory is unstoppable. He chose violence the moment he entered the Pizzaplex. Eventually, Gregory and Glamrock Freddy uncover a secret underground facility beneath the mall, which turns out to be the ruins of Henry's old pizzeria that burned down in FNAF 6. They built the mall on top of the old restaurant, because of course they did. Down there, they find a creepier surprise, the Blob, a giant molten mass of animatronic parts and tangled wires that contains an amalgamation of many past animatronic souls. It even has Puppet's mask and parts of Funtime Freddy, etc. And in the deepest chamber, hooked up to life support machines, is none other than William Afton in the flesh, or what's left of him. He's now in yet another form fans dub Springtrap, essentially Springtrap's decayed corpse with some cybernetic upgrades. The madman just will not die. Afton has been slugging it out down here, connected to the Pizzaplex systems, waiting to regain strength. The missing kids? Likely more fuel for his immortality experiments. His plan now is to upload himself into Glamrock Freddy, or otherwise use the network to reassert control, and you guessed it, kill more kids. The finale goes down with an epic boss battle in the bowels of the Pizzaplex. Springtrap, Afton tries to hack into Glamrock Freddy's circuitry, turning Freddy's eyes purple, the signature Afton mind control color, to force Freddy to attack Gregory. Meanwhile, Gregory fights back by setting fires in the room's generators to burn Afton's body yet again. Third time's the charm. As the place starts collapsing, the Blob, that giant tangle of agony-filled animatronic parts, comes out of nowhere and ensnares William/Springtrap just as he's about to get his claws on our heroes. The Blob seemingly has all the lingering souls of his past victims, and maybe even his family, and they drag Afton away, down into the rubble, putting an end to him once more. Gregory and Freddy manage to escape to the surface as the entire Pizzaplex collapses and burns in a spectacular inferno. In the best ending, based on collecting everything, we get a final scene of Gregory and Freddy sitting on a hill at sunrise, finally safe, free, and at peace. Even Vanessa, freed from Afton's control, might be there too, implying a hopeful future. It mirrors Henry's ending image from FNAF 6. Lots of callbacks in this series. It feels like a true ending. The evil Springtrap is gone for good, the lost souls avenged, all loose ends finally tied up, until the next DLC, or book of course. And fans still aren't done theorizing, naturally. There are hints in the Ruin DLC and the novel series that Afton's influence isn't completely over. Plus, there's the mysterious character of Cassie and the Mimic, and other threads in Tales from the Pizzaplex. But those are beyond the scope of this already insane timeline. One thing's for sure, as long as there's money to be made and fans to scare, he always comes back. So there you have it. The entire FNAF timeline, so far, told in a relatively simple way. We started with two friends in a family restaurant and ended with digital ghosts and burning malls. Along the way, we saw a father turn into a monster, children's souls seeking justice, and a son trying to right his father's wrongs even after literally becoming a corpse. The FNAF lore truly is a unique blend of tragedy, horror, and what the heck moments. From the first missing kids to the latest killer mall, one thing remains consistent. William Afton is the worst, and he just won't die. FNAF's story is one of the most convoluted in gaming, but that's part of why we love it. It's like a giant puzzle that the community keeps solving and resolving with every new game or theory. And despite all the darkness, the heart of the story is about haunted souls finding peace and a family cycle of violence being broken, eventually. Will Afton ever truly be gone? Will Gregory turn out to be a robot? Who knows? Until the next crazy installment, at least we can say we survived the 5 nights at Freddy's timeline.